All right, good morning. We're going to start with a song and meditation from Mandi. So let's just relax and listen and choose only love.
Technical problems. Lynn, can you hear us?
I hear people talking.
Yeah.
What's going on?
It's stopped and there's no music or share.
Huh, that's weird.
Mercury.
Okay. It is, yeah. See, this is how
I
it is.
heard it perfectly.
Were you hearing it perfectly?
I
did too, yes.
Yeah, but it stopped. So are you done with it?
No, it didn't stop. It was still playing.
Yeah, well, it stopped.
Okay, it stopped for you, but did it stop for anybody else? Okay.
Well, yeah, it did. It did.
Weird. Yeah, it's
Did-
just playing away right here. I don't know.
No,
It is not playing now.
It's
No,
not
I-
playing now because I shut it off because I heard people talking.
Oh,
right.
okay.
And that's when I started talking is when it stopped.
Okay, so you don't hear it now.
Nope.
No.
No.
And the share stopped. In other words, the share stopped. It's okay.
Now you got me retrograde. Oh gosh, this is one of those kind of days, I guess. Yeah, I did stop the share because you said I don't know, because I'm confused because it's, I don't know. My daughter called her husband has COVID. He just started a new job. A lady at the job got COVID and he got COVID. So now he has to be off work for 7 days. So that's 7 days that they don't get paid. And that's kind of frustrating.
I think the new rule is 5 days.
That's what I thought too. Well, she's calling the health department, so
Okay.
we'll find that out. Anyway, oh, enough. Good morning, everybody. We're here to talk about is-ness is your only business. And I don't even remember what we read last week, but I don't know if I even marked it. Did I? Well, yeah, we read Stay In, Choose Love. Stay in, choose love. So let's look at in this moment. Does somebody else have something that they'd like to share that is a better?
Brooklyn, she had her thing on.
She had her hand up. Okay,
Hi,
Brooklyn, please.
Brooklyn. Hi, sweetie.
Hi, namaste, my companions. Oh my goodness. I want to share a miracle.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to stop this and just let you share that because I forgot to call you. I mean, obviously,
That's okay, that's okay, that's okay.
but
Yeah, well, it didn't start out very well. I don't know. I feel like I must have taken some stupid pills because I pressed, I don't know, I've been pressing things that are wrong, you know. I had a okay, Microsoft told me there was suspicious activity and I pressed this, I pressed that. Next thing I know, I couldn't get in Microsoft.
no.
So, like I am so computer illiterate. I shouldn't say that. I should be careful with my diet of words. My brain is computer illiterate. So I Googled and I found someone in my neighborhood with a computer store within walking distance. And I went there and I met another mighty companion. I spent about a few hours in that store and he changed my hard drive, but he couldn't. My hard drive was so messed up, he couldn't copy it. So he did it by hand and he only charged me for the hard drive. So, we I told him about he's 38 years old, married, kids, never heard of A Course in Miracles till now. I was playing ACIM radio while I was there and he loved it. And okay, then I get home and the next day he forgot to enter an antivirus. So I try to enter an antivirus and of course I enter the wrong thing. And I'm in my documents typing poetry and I see this antivirus name is a choice of where I can input my poetry and I freaked and I called him up Sunday and he was with his kids and everything. I'm so sorry to bother you on your day off. This is an emergency, and he guided me through it and I'm be talking to him today. He's going to be putting an antivirus on my computer. And, this I guess the stupid pills were part of the plan of meeting another mighty companion. And that's the miracle.
That's beautiful.
My
beautiful.
the body is still shaken up, but the heart is grateful.
Yeah, that's so wonderful that, and obviously, I don't know what was playing on Gather Radio when you were there with him. Was it what was it? Do you remember?
Oh, I don't remember.
I have to look and see. I don't even have the same playlist up, so because I play a lot of stuff.
But he I adopted him,
Sounds like he adopted you too. So
What a gift. What a
yes,
gift.
yes.
Uh,
Go ahead.
yeah, but yeah, so stupid pills do have its purpose, I guess. But I'm gonna be very much more careful now. The scammers are getting so good.
Yes, and that's what I was going to say. If anything that comes up, or if you get an email that says, your Netflix is overdue and you need to pay, not those things are scams, and they'll come up and they'll say there's something wrong with your Microsoft account.
Yeah.
They're scams, and they're just trying to get your information, or even kidnap your computer, which does happen and has happened to people that I know. So it's you have to just ask before any action. That's just be still and ask. When the thing comes up and your little amygdala in your brain starts going, fight or flight, blah, 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 then all you have to do is just center yourself a little bit and just ask, what should I do now? And sometimes the answer is just do nothing. That's what happens to me a lot. Nothing. Just do nothing. And again, do nothing until you feel the peace of God in you about it, until you're absolutely certain that this is the right and only thing that you want to do. Just don't do things because the ego is, and the ego is just like pulling your strings. Whoa, whoa, look how funny. She's just dancing around like crazy now. She's, that's how it works. But it's not you and it's not God. And so to listen to that voice that's trying to make you think that something has gone wrong, that's the first problem. Nothing has gone wrong. And you found that out. You went and you found a really wonderful young person. Maybe they think about A Course in Miracles, maybe they don't. Doesn't matter. It's in their mind, it's in their heart. And they can he can choose for himself, but you're continuing with the relationship with him, which is wonderful because you both now can work with each other in the computer world, in your computer, and also in your heart, mind, and soul. And that's really the beauty of that kind of thing. And this is how we are everywhere we go. You're the light. You shine the light where you go. Rafi, please go ahead.
It's a perfect example of your consciousness being reflected back to you. That's why he was there. You don't realize that you put him there, and he reflected back your consciousness, and that's why it worked the way it was. So that's the blessing. That's the gain right there. It's when I heard it, it's so obvious. What you put out, you get back, and there he was.
I'm amazed. I think, also I told him about Ram Dass also. He never heard of Ram Dass. And he had oldies playing. And I know all the words, all the songs, and I know that the years that came out, and like he was playing Stevie Wonder, 1970, 1968, he's, and yeah, we were having a good time.
Yeah, I bet you he treasured you. I'll bet you he went home to that family and those kids and said, I met an angel today. It's a beautiful thing.
Oh, and I met an angel. I met an angel.
That's right.
And oh my God, yeah, he's gonna. I'm calling him after I get off, and it's these, we don't know what anything is for, but the intelligence of the people who do this, if is a little word, if they challenged it in a different way, but it is what it is, and we don't know what it's for.
That's right. Everything is here in this world for a reason. And yes, those, the people that are, scamming, they don't think of it as, I'm trying to hurt people. They're thinking of it as, I can play a game. Here's a way to get something that I need. They're to them, that's no more of a scam than General Mills or Kellogg's telling you that you need to eat cereal every morning for breakfast so that you'll be strong throughout the day, and put that sugar on that. The more sugar you get, the better. And then the Dairy Council saying, yeah, drink that milk because, and nobody's saying, well, gee, what's, is it true? You got cows out advertising Chick-fil-A, I mean, It's all in our, it's all part of the dream. Dove and then Rafi, please go ahead.
Okay. Now here's the crazy thing. First of all, the world is crazy, 100% insane.
Insane.
If you're doing the course, you got to recognize that we want the scammer to scam. We put the scammer there. The ego put the scammer there so we can see other people as guilty and poor me is a victim. That's the way the world works. You are a victim of somebody else's dream. I mean, that's pure course. I mean, Werner Erhard, before I ever heard, from S, before I ever did the course, said the greatest fear is not the fear of dying. The greatest fear is being conned. Is being conned, which is what a scam is. You're getting conned. The reason for that is that we were conned to come here in the first place, and Jesus tells you that in the course. To take on a body and to dream that you left God is a con. So people, and in fact, they did a survey of the Fortune 100 companies, CEOs, and they asked the CEOs, "What is your greatest fear?" More than half of the 100 Fortune CEOs said that someone's going to find out that they're not real, that they conned their way to the top of the heap. And if you look at that, that's exactly how you get to the top of the heap. You step on other people.
That's crazy. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Dove. Yes. Either we're conned or we're being conned.
Yeah.
Rafi, please go ahead.
Yeah, once when a spammer they came up on a spammer and said, if you something, if you have any questions, or call this number. So I called the number and I get this guy on the phone and he's being really nice and very nice. And he's asking me about banking, routing numbers and this kind of stuff. And I look at, and I hit my, this guy is just okay. I get it. This is a big scam. So I said to him, don't you have any morals at all? Don't you have any sense of right and wrong and what's wrong and what's moral? And he hung up on me. And then it occurred to me, the only reason why he was there was to show me that I had stuff to let go of. I mean, that was his purpose. He was there to show me that, that if I use my mind to try to handle this thing, that I'm going to get into it deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. As soon as I backed away and said, I'm not going to do this anymore. And I had no hard feelings about this guy. I just skipped. After he hung up, I just sent him love and I got into a nice, peaceful place. But I realized it's like everything is working for your ultimate good. Everything. Everything is working towards your, there's nothing that's happening to me. It happens for me. And so when I looked at it, I thought, that's fine. Okay. And it worked out fine. And whatever feelings came up, I let them go. There was a lot of wanting control feelings came up and I let them all go. And I got into a nice, peaceful place again. And I thanked him. Thank you for showing me, helping me get home, go home.
That's beautiful, Rafi. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, and that's it, if we get angry with the scammer and we want to lash out at the scammer and whatever, that's just the same as we're doing the same thing. We're fighting ourselves. And so yeah, there's no purpose in it, and the purpose is always to find the peace of God and to see the love in my brother and to recognize that my brother who is doing this thing is a representative of the Christ just as I am. And so, where do I see the Christ in him? I don't have to make up a story. I know it's there. So the best thing is just to bless him and to know that, the only reason people do these things is out of a sense of fear for money, fear for there's all these different motivations, but none of them are to find the peace of God, which is really what they're looking for. And so, that's all we can hope for them, and trust that they will find it. Joni, please go ahead.
I'm my interest in this is always is since there is no other or outside, where do I con myself? Where am I con myself in relationship to the divine? Where do I spill con over, projected out into the dream or into the world? So for me, and you already hit it, underneath all con jobs is fear. But it doesn't matter what they're doing. They're the blessing to get me to look within. So where am I conning anything? And it usually ends up fear of trusting God, fear of this is going to work out or whatever. And I con myself. I mean, I'm only doing this to myself. There is no others. And in the world, which is this lovely dream of reflection, indicators, and a mirror or a movie, I get to see that. But the work is not just for me, hey, pet it and let it go. It's not. It's about sitting with Holy Spirit, feeling the feelings, really getting underneath what am I doing in relationship to my higher self. Because if I'm swimming around on the villain hero triangle of the hero's journey or whatever, if I'm swimming in that low energy, I'm not in relationship to God, and I'm conning only myself. And therefore, and then I can test it when I've done the work and I've surrendered to Holy Spirit, got the messages and lessons. Then I can walk out into the world to get the next lesson. Because if I just pet it and let it go, it'll show up again. It'll just show up again. And why? Because I didn't heal it. Why didn't I heal it? Because I didn't sit with it. I didn't do my inner work with Holy Spirit. So I just am humbly grateful for all indicators. If it's a beautiful day and a beautiful happy dream, I'm grateful for that. But I'm also bring it on, the world, because I want to see clearly now. I want the benefits of what I can do to connect with my higher power and therefore have the happy dream, the peace in the happy dream. Thanks. That's my 2 cents. It's now inflationed up to 5 cents.
I love that. Thank you. And good morning, John. It's good to see you, brother. Brooklyn, please go ahead.
I was telling my friend what happened, and they asked, how did you find this person? I said, God found him for me. I didn't, and he was in my neighborhood. It was a 20-minute walk. And how blessed. I guess sometimes things happen to wake you up, and well, everything is to put us where we need to be.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. That's so beautiful. And you can't help but be there. That's, this is all part of the script. The script was, this is how Brooklyn meets this beautiful young man. And it starts with a story of fear and attack, and ends in a story of love and joining. Because
when he picked up that phone, I knew I was good. Like I was there, oh my God, I can't get a microphone. And then I called and he was there. It's going to be okay. And I'm like,
Yeah, that's beautiful. And it's really interesting. We've been watching, I've been surreptitiously watching part of the time, reruns of that show Survivor, which is a television show in the United States that is, I guess it's maybe all over, but where a group of people, like 16 or 18 people are, put together on like it's supposed to be like a desert island or deserted island, and they have to kind of make their way, and then they have these challenges that they have to do, and they have to make alliances with each other, and they're on as tribes. They'll have 2 or 3 tribes, and they have contests against each other, and so it's a whole big competition thing, and it's like a big social experiment, really, to see what happens with people when you put them together in a place where they don't have the worldly things that they don't have a bathroom or a microwave, or they don't even have food, and they have to figure out how to get things and how to do things. And it's really an interesting study, because again, yesterday I was watching it and I saw myself, uh the season, the young man that eventually won was a little scam artist. Basically, he went around, talking behind people's backs, and getting alliances with people, and then promising things that he would never give in, and he just basically scammed his way, and honestly, like, gaslighted people through the whole thing, and in the end he won, and they all thought he was a wonderful young man. And I'm sure because they didn't see the whole picture, which later on I knew they went home and watched when it came up on television, because they don't show it until it's completely done and all the winners chosen. Then they start showing them the episodes on television, so that people can see what went on. And I'm sure that when people went back and looked, people who were on that island with this young man went back and watched how he manipulated people and how he scammed people throughout the whole thing, and how they were conned by him. And in the end, we're sitting there, and he's got there's 3 that end up in the end, and there's these 2 young ladies, and they're like, you can tell they're completely gaslit by this guy, and saying things, that from watching how devious he was throughout the whole thing, was not true. And I was sitting there going, why would they fall for this? And I realized it's because they did not know themselves. They didn't have confidence in the truth of themselves. They doubted their own thinking, which is the first thing anyone who gaslights preys on. Is he finds somebody who doubts, who they can make doubt their own thinking, who they can make doubt their own um, logical mind. They can fool them, and these people are so easily fooled because they're trusting, and they're open, and so I looked at that, and I saw myself on both sides. I saw in the world where I have been conned by people I thought were completely acceptable, and a lot of spiritual people who I thought at first, this is really truly a person that has the Holy Spirit in them, and they even wrote a book about it, and so they got to be really, really up there. And then it turns out that they were a con as well. And and so I saw how I was conned, but then I also saw how I conned other people too, how I gaslit other people too, because not so much now, because I don't see myself doing it, but I maybe, but definitely when I was in the working world, in the corporate world, I did that all the time. That's how I got ahead, because that's how I thought I needed to get ahead. So I saw so much of myself in these characters on this show, and in my own reactions to these characters on this show, and my own thoughts about it. And I realized that that was made for me. That was, the Holy Spirit was sending me, flat out a message, about, what I'm doing here. And the key that I got from all of it is, you must know yourself. You must know yourself. know your value, know your worth, know your intelligence, know your connection to the Holy Spirit, know the Christ in you. You must learn what that is and find it in yourself, because when you know yourself, you can never be conned. You can never be broken. Things, your life might fall all apart and you are steady because you know who you are. And so that's, I think, as we, it's taken me this long in my life to realize that that's the most important and only thing that I really need to do. And I definitely see a shift. So Joni, yeah, please go
Yeah.
ahead.
Well, now we should add TV to the list of movies, stages, reflection, because those, life or the dream in our own TV show, our own movie, these are characters called my spouse, my children, my grandchildren, my friends, my neighbors, the guy in the car, the guy in the line in the grocery store are all characters that I projected into the dream we call the dream, the TV, and they're there for my benefit, my blessings. Again, if I'm paying attention where I put my energy that grows, if I'm paying attention to the dream or the TV, I mean, we know this for a fact when I watch TV. I'm not thinking about God when I'm watching TV. So if it's a pointing back to my relationship with God. And 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 who, as you said, if you knew who you were, you wouldn't be projecting those things, that specific thing. Because I didn't watch that show at all. I don't have a classroom around that. I could watch other ones, and all I have to do is look outside my window, and there's the TV for my characters. And so whatever our lessons are, and they will change over time too, because as long as we're in the dream and we heal one lesson, there's going to be another one, because that's how I grow. Because there isn't in the dream a time where I'm not going to get more lessons. As long as I'm breathing, there's going to be more classrooms. There's going to be more interactions. But I can have a happy dream whether I'm conned or on that island or watching TV. I can have a happy dream if I choose that in my mind, because it's all neutral. It's a vapor. It doesn't exist. So if I just can enjoy the ride, whether it's a horror movie or a romantic comedy or a murder mystery, if I can enjoy the ride by laughing a little bit, then I'm learning my lessons, because that introspection is what I'm doing more of. And thankfully through the lessons, through the poetry of Mandi, I can fill my mind more with that than the unconscious numbing of addictions or altars or judgments. So, thanks. Pass.
Thank you, Joni. And you just made me think of something as well. I was not laughing at any part of that show. There was not a single chuckle that came out of me at that show, because everyone was it just seems so awful.
Lynn, you're making it real if you're not laughing at
I
it,
know, I know it, I know
because
it.
they're just characters.
That's
And
what
you
I
don't
did, just realize that.
and the guy, I think I know who one of them, and didn't he not pay his taxes or something? Anyway, if you look at the stories, the next thing changes. I mean, it's an ever-changing thing. We don't know how those so-called conned women, they might have led them to the love of their life and millions of dollars in the lottery. You don't know. All I can tell you is, if you're not laughing, you're taking it seriously. You're an ego judging.
Yeah, yeah, that is for sure. And that's exactly right. I was definitely in ego judging a lot. And but I was watching myself doing it too, and seeing, how it is and why it is that I was getting caught up in it like that. And that's my whole trouble with the world and politics and everything else. So it's just
Well,
another
and you've done that for me, because I will sit there and chew on that bone of my rightness about a situation until I make myself sick. But the question, even though you've done wonderful, you and Dove have done wonderful jobs of guiding, and they have planted seeds in me, it's only when I sit down with God and the pen and paper or the meditation in the silence that I get anything or can hear it. Because you've told me this stuff before too. It's only when I experience it myself with God in of that situation and gently laugh at myself and forgive myself that I made it real, that I ever have the peace and joy instead as a V8. I
Yeah,
could have
yeah.
had peace instead of judgment.
Exactly. And you know what you just said just reminded me too. At the end, the guy said, "You guys know I'm really a good guy, but I was playing a game." And the game
I
said,
heard
if
that.
I
I
wanted
heard
to win then that's how I had to win the game. And he literally said that that's not me. I'm not like that ever, but I was playing a game. And so that's, we're
he's
not
playing
like
by the
that.
rules of duality.
Right.
He played the game better than the others, and kudos for him, you
Yeah.
know?
And he won $1 million. So yep,
Yep.
yep. Rafi, please go ahead.
Okay, what all of this happened, it's just one word that you said, Glenn, and that's the word show. While those people are going through all of their doing, there's an entire film crew there filming them. And that film crew is fed every day. And they have a craft services table, which they can go and snack on anytime they want. And they're provided with places to sleep. And they have certain amount of hours that they work. And if they work over that, they get paid overtime. While all of those people in the show are running around doing what they're doing, there's this going on. Then after that, they take all of that stuff that they taped and they bring it back to a post-production a situation who edits everything and gets it so that it fits within a certain time period. And and then there are the people that hired all of those people to do all of that, to film all of those people who are going through that survivor thing. So this thing goes, so there are levels and levels and levels, and that's all part of the show. That's all part of this stream thing, that this illusion that goes on. And what's it here for? To teach you the lessons that you learned. That whole thing was there,
Yep.
and you and whoever else watches it, and the people who are involved in it, if they learn from it, if they understand that it was there projected for their benefit, that's fine. And if they don't, hey, that's the way it goes. But that all of that is part. The people in the show, the people who film the show, the people who do the post-production work, the people who hired all the people who handle the production, all of that is part of that one mainstream of this is what you have to learn so you can wake up. And when I saw it, and then I looked at this, but isn't this part of that too? What we're doing here right now? Absolutely. Are there any mistakes? No. Is it here for our benefit? Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Rafi. Yes, 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 yes. You are absolutely right. And yes, there are and you got you made me think about all that. Because I always think, doesn't this camera crew, don't they see these things happening? How can they, these people are starving. I mean, honestly, I go into believing the story and thinking that it's real. And of course, it's only an hour. It's like not a not something that is I'm living for weeks at a time. I'm just watching it for an hour on TV. And you're right that there's a whole post-production crew that selects what they want us to see and how they want us to see it, and they put the story together in whatever way that most brings about the most drama and gives the most compelling reason for people to come back and watch it again. Because in the end, the whole thing is not about people on an island and camera crews and everything. It's about someone making a lot of money from advertising, from all the, selling it to HBO or whatever it is that they do. That's really in the end, it's a whole mechanism, and that's what this is too. This whole thing is just a whole mechanism that's made to bring me to a place where I can know God and remember God. That's the whole point of all of this. So I love this discussion, and thank you all for indulging me on uh, the uh, um, the survivor thread. Because you're right. I did exactly what they wanted me to do. I did exactly what they wanted me to do. The only thing is that we queued through the commercials, so I didn't see the advertisements, but it didn't matter because they already made their money, and they're just making more money by me subscribing to a service that shows their show. So I love it. All right, so let us uh, let us get into our poem for the day. And I think I'm not sure because I've read these so many times I can't remember which ones we've read and which ones we haven't. But let's see. I'm going to the wrong place. Going to the wrong place, but it had to be the right time. All right. All right, so this poem is called In This Moment. Have we read this one? Okay, we may or may not, but I'm going to read it now. So let's just get simmer down a little bit. Leave those people on their island. Actually, when you saw them at the end, at the last, after they had been back in America and they had been eating and had gained some weight back because they were like thin little stick people. And they had gained some weight. You couldn't even recognize their faces. They didn't look the same at all. And that's how we are. We don't really look like this at all. We aren't really here in this way at all. Just here to join together in this moment. In this moment, don't touch any thought at all. And imagine you are trapped between two narrow walls, which are totally constructed from all your thoughts. And if you touch them, you'll get hopelessly caught. Outside, there are lions surrounding your cell, and they can hear exceptionally well. So if your arms even touch those cold walls by mistake, you'd better pray that those lions don't awake, because you'll be swallowed up through their open jaws, exactly like when you're lost in thoughts. So remain totally still and completely allow the presence of the present right here and now. Don't want anything from this moment, not even to move. There's absolutely nothing that stillness can't improve. Stay silent as the grave and look for nothing at all. Drop thoughts. Let them bounce away like a ball. You don't need to forcefully push them away. They cannot harm you. They can't even stay. Because the secret is simply not to engage, whether they're happy their thoughts or full of rage. Just leave them alone and don't invest in finishing thought sentences or giving interest. Hush. Keep quiet and drop any questions, any comments or judgments, ideas or perceptions. Be so still you cannot even hear your breath, like before your birth and beyond your death. Who is it that is looking? What is it that's aware? Turn your attention within and hold it there. What is it that always remains the same? No matter what the appearances claim, that which remains untouched by disaster, it is your source. You have met your master. When you allow everything to be without resistance, you return to the consciousness of pure existence. Complete relaxation in every moment, crystal clear. Here I am, pure spirit, right here. Here in this moment, don't touch any thought at all. And imagine you are trapped between two narrow walls, which are totally constructed from all your thoughts. And if you touch them, you'll get hopelessly caught. Can you guys feel that? What is it to be trapped in the walls with all my thoughts, all the sticky thoughts like flypaper, like Keith talks about? And if you touch those thoughts, if you catch those thoughts, if you begin to believe those thoughts, then the walls begin to crumble and allow the lions who are waiting, those lions that are saying, oh, turn on that show. Let's see how we can judge more people today. Oh, look at that news. Oh, isn't it awful how people are? Oh, look at my neighbors. What a shame. They let that dog bark all day and all night. Everywhere I look, I see places to judge and things to think about. Those sticky thoughts, trapped. So beautiful. Does anybody have any thoughts? Anything that they would like to share?
Wow, wow, wow.
I agree. Wow, wow, wow.
No, I think these poems just are so powerful. Remain totally still. I love this. And completely allow the presence of the present right here and now. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. What do I want from this moment? Just don't move. Anybody have any thoughts they'd like to share?
Well, this reminded me of everything that I've been taught. Desire is the source of all suffering. Don't identify with thoughts because they're not real, they're not true, they're not facts, and they're not me. I'm not my thoughts. And they're a constant source of limitation. The quiet is the answer. It says right there, it says, hush, keep quiet. Don't drop any questions, any comments or judgments, ideas or possessions, but just be still. And there's that old expression, be still and know that I am God. Staying in acceptance and being the witness to all of this and allowing it to be as it is and not getting caught up in it is the source of peace. And peace is reality. Thank you.
Thank you, Rafi. Anyone else have anything to share? Carrie, please go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say that, you know, the part about allow everything to be without resistance. I mean, this to me is the key. It's something that I personally struggle with a lot. You know, when something, let's say, quote unquote, bad happens, whatever it is, the mind starts going crazy. Like, why is this happening? Oh my God, this is so horrible. Now I got this major problem. And then the thoughts just keep going one after another, and it just strengthens the sense of the feeling of being a separate self. So, you know, when something sort of good happens, like the story Brooklyn was describing, I think it's easier to say, oh, it's, you know, this is just the way things are happening, things are being reflected for me. And it's very hard, again, I'm just speaking for myself, to not get trapped into those thoughts of like, why me? Why is this happening? And sometimes I remember, but like after the fact, you know. So, you know, I think this is a good reminder about don't judge things and don't resist things.
Thank you, Carrie. Yes, it is. And I'm just reminded again now that Rafi spoke so eloquently about how the production goes on, that we are not in any position at this point to say anything, because we don't know. The producers, the people who put everything together, they can see from a big picture perspective, and they see all the different things, and that's that the maker of the world, which is the ego mind, but also the Holy Spirit made the world that is governed by the miracle, just by going into the world the ego made, and putting miracles behind every problem. So every problem that comes up, there's a miracle there for you. Just like Brooklyn with her computer, the miracle was there for her. The Holy Spirit put that there. She didn't know. If she had known when this thing started happening, oh yes, well, wonderful things are going to happen for me because of this. She would never have been afraid or upset. She would have just been, expecting nothing but something wonderful to happen. And so this is where we make our mistake, by saying that something has gone wrong or something can go wrong, but in reality it's all just part of the production. I'm going to be using that now, Rafi. It's all just part of that production. So yeah, thank you, thank you. Anybody else have anything that they would like to share? We go back to the regular screen so we can kind of see each other. That's awesome. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Anybody else have anything that they would like to share? I'm looking for hands.
I need do nothing.
Yes. Exactly. And that's all I need to know. I don't know much, but I know I love you, and that could be all I need to know. You know that song? It's one of my favorites. But that's it. All we need to know is that the love is there. Here, let's listen to Mandy. And we have a little
Lynn,
YouTube.
do you run till 11:30?
Yeah, or noon, whenever. If Mandy's here, sometimes we run longer. But
You know,
11.
Susie, your friend Susie, I saw her on Facebook write something yesterday. Is she still going to be with us or?
Oh yeah, she's just traveling, so they're in different places traveling around. So yeah, she'll be here.
And I saw Mickey. Hi, Mickey. I saw you at Keats yesterday.
Hi. Oh,
Hi.
yeah. Oh, boy, did I have a meltdown.
You did? I didn't. Maybe I
Well,
had.
I had a meltdown that morning and I asked him about it. I woke up to an inch of water on my kitchen floor and water pouring out from through the cabinet. And boy, I lost my peace.
Ah, that was you, Mickey.
Yes, that was me.
Yeah, I knew it was. You know, when I knew it was you, but I got called away, so I didn't hear the whole story. Yeah, but
Okay, yeah.
his stuff is so good, though. I go in there. I listen to him a couple times a week because he just like to me, he just gives you everything that you can in the course, and just that nothing happened.
Yeah, yeah, nothing,
Right?
nothing happened. Right, yeah.
I listened to him on YouTube. My
Yeah,
goodness.
usually I do. Well, I go in there, you know, I should go to Speakeasy too, but I haven't. I go to in the morning I like their service and waking together, and then I just go right to Keith. But you know, I think he's just so much like Ken, just with an Irish accent.
Yeah, that's beautiful. All right, well, I'm going to play this. Do you see Mandy on the screen?
I have a quick question.
Yes, sir.
What did Keith say about the water in your kitchen?
Um, Mainly he said that my mistake was judging myself for I have to listen to it again to really get it straight, but it would so I discovered this situation that was kind of dire and I panicked and then I judged myself for panicking and you know that was the wrong thing, that I should have maintained my composure and just mopped up the floor without judging myself for it.
Very
So
You
yeah,
know,
But
what
shoulda is, yeah.
I was going to say, how could you, that part of you that's judging isn't you? That's what he says all the time.
right, yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
mean, you
she
can't
knows that.
stop an ego from coming and judging. But what we need to do is say, oh, ego made a mistake. But
right.
right.
Yeah, but the fact that I brought it up again in the meeting meant that I was still in judgment about my reaction.
Right. Yeah.
And that's where I got tripped up.
Well, that happens to me too. I mean, you know, I get tripped up a lot. I think every day, really.
I think, yeah, I think that's part of being a human or being is that I mean those are the triggers. Brooklyn, please go ahead and then I'll play this Mandy saying there's no moment better than this moment to go with our poem. Go ahead, Brooklyn.
What I like what he said, it's okay to feel. It's okay to feel terror, but we don't have to judge it. The more when we're with those feelings, the easier it becomes.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I was telling my friend Mark, the computer guy, we're human, but we're beings. We're both.
I
Yeah.
love it.
That's
Thank
true.
you.
We
That's
are, we're being.
beautiful. I see Rafi has, oh, by the way, Rafi, Mandy wanted me to tell you that she's been watching videos of Lester Levinson, and she is so grateful that um, you reminded her, or that you're also a friend of Lester. So go ahead, Rafi.
Yeah, about the feelings. Most of the time, the problem is that we don't like the feelings, so we push them back down, or we try to escape from them, or distract ourselves from them, and that's the mistake. To welcome them, they're here to help, like everything else, especially fear, but all of them. And you welcome them, you bring them up, you be one with them, and then choose to allow them to go, because they all come up to leave anyway. That's the only like everything is working for us. Feelings come up to go. And if you sit on them or you push them down and say, I hate feeling this way, it's only going to stay there. It's going to be pushed down, and it's going to just keep replicating itself over and over and over and over again. But if you welcome the feeling, the fear, the anger, the distrust, the distress, whatever it is, bring it up and welcome it and allow it to go, then you're in charge. You're not the victim anymore. And the feeling has done its job. And that's what it's here to do. So I
Thank you,
just
Rafi.
wanted
Thank
to
you.
remind myself of that, actually. Thank you.
It came
Thank
up
you.
and it can go. Thank you, Rafi. Dove, did you want to say something?
No, I just want to thank Rafi. That's a great way of looking at it. Everything is happening for you, including the feelings coming up. They only come up so you can let them go. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so let's hear what Mandy says about there is no
Oh,
moment.
could I just say something?
Yes.
I remember Mark says that you have such a soothing voice, Lenny.
Oh,
Okay.
so it must have been something. Okay. I love it. That's beautiful. All right, here we go. Let's listen to Mandy. There is no moment better than this moment. And please let me know if you don't hear sound.
I'm just really want to tell you, and you'll already know this, but I found this just such a great way to get it, really. And it's simply this: there is no moment better than this moment. If you absolutely absorb that and just use it as a little practice hundreds of times a day, eventually it'll just become automatic, so that when I just sort of discovered it, really. I was taking the lid off a jar of salad cream and thinking about the salad. And then I just realized this moment is the best moment. This moment just comprises unscrewing the lid. And there's no moment better than this moment. I mean, this will come as absolutely no surprise. I mean, I haven't made videos for years, really, because I was always saying the same thing, which is, don't really listen to your thoughts. It's just a matter of not trying to get rid of thinking or thoughts, just not being interested in them, not finishing the thought conversation. And we're always sort of thinking about the very next thing. Always. So, when you just think there is no moment better than this moment, that means the very miniature of time. It's less than a second. So, you know, you're driving somewhere and you're thinking about your destination. So really, we just come to, well, there's no moment better than this moment. So we're just aware of just the nice feeling of the driving. Although I know that you all know this, because there are wonderful books that have been out for years, such as The Beautiful Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, and just about all the best teachings are saying the same thing. But to actually how to be in now, just say to yourself, there's no moment better than this moment in everything you do. And don't label it like mindfulness or anything really, or spirituality. It's just noticing in the smallest, tiniest details, whatever it is that you're doing, even if it's part of a big project, it's the actual thing that you're doing right this moment, the most minute part of the whole thing that you're doing. Cooking, holding a spoon, cutting some carrots, whatever it is, just keep coming back to that one sentence. There is no moment better than this moment. It's actually pretty deep when you start to live it. It's incredible, because, you know, somebody might say, well, what if you're in a horrible moment? What if you've had a fall and you hurt yourself, or you're running away from people, or whatever it is? How can you say there is no moment better than this moment? Because the next moment of being safe, surely that's the best moment. But it doesn't really work like that, because if you are running away from somebody, if you realize in the running that this moment, the moment of running, there is no moment better than this moment, you will find such a sense of presence that the so-called enemy will disappear, because the enemy is either in the past or the future, but not actually in this moment, which is immeasurable. You can't measure it. It's not a fraction of a second. It's less than that. There is no moment better than this moment.
Thank you, Mandy.
So, hi.
Yes, there is no moment better than this moment. No moment more important. No moment. In fact, in the moment, nothing is happening. It's only in the anticipation of the future or the remembering of the past. So the remembering of the past is I'm running from someone. And the anticipation of the future is that person may catch me and hurt me. So if you're living in I'm afraid, and that person may catch me and hurt me. Yes, in the moment, I am in. I seem to be in fear. But if you move into the moment where he is neither running after you nor is he catching you, in the moment you are just running, and in the moment there's nothing else. That is just so lovely. I think I'll reread the poem before we close out and be thinking about this moment. In this moment, don't touch any thought at all, and imagine you are trapped between two narrow walls, which are totally constructed from all your thoughts. Those narrow walls, the past and the future. But here I am right here in the middle between these two walls, totally constructed from all your thoughts. And if you touch them, you'll get hopelessly caught. Outside, there are lions surrounding your cell, and they can hear exceptionally well. So if your arms even touch those cold walls by mistake, you'd better pray that those lions don't awake, because you'll be swallowed up through their open jaws, exactly like when you're lost in thoughts. So remain totally still and completely allow the presence of the present right here and now. Don't want anything from this moment, not even to move. There is absolutely nothing that stillness can't improve. Stay silent as the grave and look for nothing at all. Drop thoughts. Let them bounce away like a ball. You don't need to forcefully push them away. They cannot harm you. They can't even stay. As Jacob Glass tells us, when the thought comes up, don't continue the story, just say, the end, the end. Because the secret is simply not to engage, whether they're happy thoughts or full of rage. Just leave them alone and don't invest in finishing thought sentences or giving interest. Hush. Keep quiet. And drop any questions, any comments or judgments, ideas or perceptions. Be so still. You cannot even hear your breath, like before your birth and beyond your death. Who is it that is looking? What is it that's aware? Turn your attention within and hold it there. What is it that always remains the same? No matter what the appearances claim, that which remains untouched by disaster, it is your source. You have met your master. When you allow everything to be without resistance, and you return to the consciousness of pure existence. Complete relaxation in every moment, crystal clear. Here I am, pure spirit, right here. Just be here and be here now. I love you guys. Does anyone have anything to share before we turn over? Rafi. I love you guys. Oh, here, put my camera back on. If I can. Yeah, there we go. All right, you guys. Thank you all for being here with me. I'm so grateful, Mickey. I'm so grateful you told your story about the plumbing, Brooklyn. I'm so happy you told us a story about your computer. You know, these are the things where we have the chance to remind ourselves of what's really happening here. Did you have something, Mickey, you want to share? Oh, you're muted.
No, I'm good.
You know, that floor needed a good washing anyway.
Yes, it did.
And I'm sure all your towels needed to be washed again as well. So
Yeah. Yeah, and which I'm doing right now. I had my camera off because I was folding laundry.
I know those plumbing disasters well. So
Yeah. Oh boy, they really. And then I went into a whole thing about while the plumber was here, we were talking. He's a really nice guy, and he's been here before. And I said, I would be a really bad pioneer. Like if it, you realize when you lose one of those modern conveniences, how dependent we are, even emotionally, on them. Because then, when you have a leak like that and, water's going everywhere, you have to turn off the main water supply. And so I had no water anywhere in the house. And I was like, oh my God, I have no water. I can't even, I can't even brush my teeth. If I had to go out to a well every day and pump water in order to, do those things, I I would not be a happy camper.
you never know, you might really enjoy it. And I mean, I've lived kind of like that in the past when I was younger. Um, just we lived in a house at the it was for migrant workers, just where farmers had migrant workers live. And so it had an outhouse and it had a pump for the water. And of course the water came from a well, and the well was, probably, I don't know, 100 feet from the outhouse.
Uh,
I don't know, what that might imply, but we didn't die. We survived. But yeah, it is not, yeah, it's not for the faint-hearted. But last Christmas, my kitchen sink plugged up over Christmas. And so Christmas dinner, Christmas everything, I couldn't wash dishes. I could It was terrible. But we made it through. So I washed dishes in a bucket. So
mhm.
it all comes out in the wash.
Yeah, literally.
Literally. Sharon, please go ahead, Sharon.
I want to say, yes, I'm just thinking about Keith when he says, how he always says, I'm not a guru, I'm not enlightened. He does that. Mickey, that makes me feel so much. He's the first teacher that has really like been there to say, when I say teacher, we're all teachers, but he's not out to tell us that he doesn't fall every day or you hear that too.
Mhm.
I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe a lot of teachers do that, but I have yet to see one that has that kind of knowledge of the course and has that sense of humor that, because when we fall into it, if we laugh, we realize it was just a silly mistake.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. And
I'm a big fan of his. I'll tell you, I think he's great.
yeah. And pretty much every teacher will tell you, just stop taking it seriously.
Right. A good teacher will tell you.
Yeah.
I've had teachers say to take it, I can't explain it. Everybody, you're gonna find that some people who are very hard on themselves, that they'll then be hard on their students, because it's
Mhm.
always about your own reflection.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and
All
close out
right,
this
see ya.
YouTube. Thank y'all for being here, and
Thank you,
hi,
guys.
Precious.